All right, what's going on, everyone? We're going to talk about Gachi Akata today. Gachi Akata, I still feel like nobody's really talking about it that much. There was some talk of it on the Trash Taste podcast, but other than that, I feel like it's kind of going under the radar right now. We got Eden's in chat. What's going on, Eden's? We got I'm going to butcher this. Cyan Aguja, excuse me. Cyan, how you doing? Ahohite, how you doing? What's up, OG? I'm a few episodes behind on the anime, but the Gachi Akata anime is really good. We've talked about it before, but I'm really liking it. I mostly want to read the manga today, but as always, I want to talk about a few things. One Punch Man is still One Punch Man. I feel like everyone is basically over it at this point. Like, it's the same people bitching and moaning about One Punch Man. Like, nobody cares. Yeah, that's the thing. Nobody cares. It just entered my favorite arc. If we're talking about the anime, it should still be in the like fight against the Raiders, unless I'm super behind. With the manga isn't the manga like wrapping up an arc, right? I'm like 20 chapters behind. Where are we? Yeah, I'm like 20 chapters behind. But we're gonna hopefully fix that today. But as far as anime, what do we have? Eden's, I never read that manga, by the way. I'm gonna try and read that tonight. The Witch Riv manga. Apparently that's supposed to be good. Trying to think what else. My Hero seems to be like, not the black horse, but like the quiet winner of the season right now. So if we go to Mal, which is not going to count Gachi Akata. So Mal says One Punch Man, then Spy Family, then My Hero. The crazy thing about Spy Family is I don't see anyone talking about it. Although I bet if I go to Netflix, can I? No, Netflix isn't gonna show me it. I bet, well, let's go to Crunchyroll. Go to the popular anime. Yeah, so Spy Family isn't that popular on Crunchyroll, so that must be all Netflix views, which makes a lot more sense. Yeah, that's interesting. At least in my experience, I don't really see a lot of people talking about it so much, but that might just be my feed. But My Hero seems to be like the fan favorite of the season, minus maybe Gachi Akata. But again, go on Crunchyroll right now. I'm looking at it right now. Most popular anime, Gachi Akata from last season, still #1 on Crunchyroll's most popular, ahead of Kaiju #8, ahead of One Piece, ahead of Dawn to Dawn. So it's doing pretty damn good. Interestingly enough, though, Dr. Stone is #1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So Dr. Stone still going strong. Love to see it. Spy Family fandom moves in silence till the plot pops off. Yeah. That's another manga I need to catch up on because I was caught up a couple of months ago, but then it was like just starting an arc. So rather than read the last few chapters, I was like, I'll just wait for it to finish this arc and then I'll catch up. And then I forgot about it. So I need to catch up the Spy Family. Maybe Gachi Akata got overshadowed by the hype of Dawn to Dawn and My Hero because everyone was talking about those anime and people didn't focus on Gachi Akata. The other thing is the real battle for anime now is being fought on Netflix. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. Panty and Stalking was very popular last season, but minus like those few weeks where it was controversial, it wasn't the most talked about show. Like, it had its moments, but it really wasn't. And the reason for that is it wasn't on Netflix. It's still not on Netflix. Maybe the first season is, but it's not. The anime that like really get mainstream popular now, at least, are all on Netflix. My Hero, One Piece, Dawn to Dawn, Dr. Stone, that's a big one. My Dress Up Darling. Gachi Akata is not on Netflix. So I'll wager this much. I guarantee the second you can watch it on Netflix, it's gonna get like way more mainstream. That is my 2 cents on that. I also really like that. I think if I wasn't already paying for Crunchyroll, I would care a lot more about it. But I think it's good that Netflix is kind of winning that battle, because if we want anime to grow, like if we want more movies, for example, right? We need anime to grow. And if we want anime to grow, we need it like on mainstream stuff. Like, we can't just rely on Crunchyroll or Amazon's Crunchyroll extension, which is a big step for them, but still losing the battle very much to Netflix. MHA gets the most likes on Crunchyroll. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Is if One Punch Man wasn't so easy to hate on, it would absolutely be the #1 anime. I think if we're purely going by views, it would probably end up being One Punch Man. But if it was like viewer satisfaction, it's probably My Hero Academia. And again, I'm saying all of this not factoring in Gachi Akata. If we factor in Gachi Akata, I would say it's at least as popular as My Hero right now. We got Justin in Justin in chat. How you doing, Justin? Solo Leveling isn't on Netflix and it was insanely hype. Isn't it on Netflix now though? Solo Leveling is a weird one for sure. I wonder if, and pardon me if I spam everyone. Okay, we're good. Solo Level. Nope. Okay, yeah, you still can't watch it on Netflix. Yeah, I guess that is the one exception. Excuse me. I think the thing with Solo Leveling, though, that helps that stand out is, one, it's A1 Pictures, right? Who is a crazy studio. The other thing behind that is, like if we just talk about season 1, there was so much hype going into it from fans of the source material that like there was a ton of hype that built up around the show, like just the first episode. I've been angry that the Gurren Lagann films cost $140. Is that the Blu-rays? What are you talking about? Yeah, I'm almost certain Solo Leveling is on Netflix in other countries, just not in the US apparently. It's the most watched. Gachi Akata's the most watched anime in the Netflix summer season. Well, the reason I say it's underrated is because it's the #1 anime, but like nobody's talking about it. And it's not like Shangri-La Frontier, where Shangri-La Frontier was the #1 watched anime on Crunchyroll and nobody was talking about it. But like that one made a little more sense because I learned that lesson the hard way. That was, I made a video on that, and literally like a week after I uploaded the video, it got not taken down, but demonetized basically. So for that reason, even though I want to make like 20 more of them, I'll never make another Shangri-La Frontier video again just because of the publishers. Gachi Akata, that's not the case though. It really is just a matter of like, it's not Shonen Jump. The fan base is kind of neat. The manga fan base is kind of niche, right? The fact that it's not a Jump manga is really the big one, because when you're not Shonen Jump, you don't have that exposure. That's really it. Obviously, everyone's gonna come at me with examples like Fullmetal Alchemist, Attack on Titan, all this stuff, but those are the exceptions, right? For the most part, like Weekly Shonen Jump, they can put out whatever they want and it's like on the cover of everything, versus like Kodansha, like it's like maybe half of their stuff that gets talked about for one season. The ratings are fine. Let's look at, I'm not saying people are trashing it, I'm just saying it deserves more attention. Let's go to Mal, just as one example. What am I doing? Here we go. So Gachi Akata currently has an 8.05, so an 8 overall on Mal, which is pretty impressive. Like most anime get like a 7 or a 7.5. So an 8 overall is definitely on the high end. It's number 636, which is definitely like, so excuse me, it's ranked number 636. Popularity, it's 831. I don't know what the difference is off the top of my head, but I would imagine we care more about the ranking. 636, that's well into the like the 8s and the 7s. So 8 is nothing extraordinary for sure, but the fact that it's I know it's on the second core now, but the fact that the first season has an 8 overall just goes to show like it's right there. Like everyone really likes it, but it just has trouble breaking through into that tier of like My Hero Academia, One Punch Man, Dawn to Dawn. Like it's clearly overshadowed by a show like Dawn to Dawn. I don't think anyone would mistake that. Not quality wise, just popularity wise. You could also argue it's in the perfect spot. Like it proved itself without like getting covered by all the weirdos like happened to Dawn to Dawn. So if you're a Gachi Akata fan, I would imagine like you're chilling, right? You're like, it's good, it looks good, it's fun to watch, people are watching it, I'm happy, right? But I really do feel like it's one of those series that like people just kind of go like if you're not already reading it, you're like, oh yeah, Gachi Akata, right? Like, oh yeah, it's whatever. While if you read it, like someone who reads it, not every week, but I keep up with it, I genuinely think it's the best ongoing manga alongside One Piece, Dawn to Dawn. Ichi the Witch, I would say, is just entering the conversation. Kagurabachi, I have to put in there just because so many people like it, and I don't really have anything bad to say about it. But yeah. And I always say this, I imagine if I was weekly with Shangri-La Frontier, it would be in the conversation as well, but I am technically still anime only with that. We got Oscar in the chat. How you doing, Oscar? Excuse me. Yaiba is one of the best animated shows of this year, in my opinion. Which studio brought in so many Kanade style animators? Yeah, no, that show looked really good. Unfortunately, I just didn't have an interest in watching it, but I always saw clips and it always looked really good. So, if you say that's your anime of the year, I can't really argue with that. Hopefully the popularity for Gachi Akata doesn't drop. I think it's like kind of hit its peak for the time being. There's a chance that once the anime is over, people start binging it and it gets like a small boost of popularity. I don't know what the odds are on that one, just because it's in its second core now. So like, I don't know. Not a lot of anime are doing that anymore, but again, I think it's chilling. Like, it's not doing bad by any estimation, but it's like, it's right there. It's an 8, right? Like, it's not quite a 9, at least according to fans, but an 8 is still way better than like all the other mid stuff coming out. So it's doing good. You read my last comment on the Gachi Akata video. You didn't give a heart like you usually do, so I'm not sure. Let's take a look. And again, pardon the quick second where you have to listen to the YouTube audio.
Compliments.
Oh, come on. There we go. All right, where's Oscar's comment? I remember reading the first bit of this one, but I must have started it and like kind of like skimming all the comments and then forgotten to come back to it. So let me read it right now for everyone to see in chat. So it better be a good one. I didn't like the first episode. So this is talking about Gachi Akata. I didn't like the first episodes of the anime because of how forced it was to be over the top edgy. But the further I watched the series, the more I began to notice that it wasn't as edgy as it seemed. You have the whole punk world and scary elements, but the story itself is very cheerful and surprisingly mature. Maturity isn't something you expect in series that are edgy, or rather, you expect the complete opposite of maturity. But Rudo's struggle with his aggression, his desire to be a better person, and the respectful treatment of the CSA topic in Amo's backstory convey the impression that at times the series wants to be more seinen than shonen. A truly pleasant surprise this year. So yes, that absolutely gets a heart and a like. Oscar, you stole the words right out of my mouth. That is exactly how I felt. For those of you who didn't watch the video, that's how I felt when I read the manga the second time over. The first time, it like fell on deaf ears. I was not that crazy about it, but the second and third time I read the manga, I was like, oh, like Kei Urana is killing it. It's people, I saw a lot of people on that video comment, like, if you have to read a manga a bunch of times to get it, it's not good. But I feel like that's kind of a narrow way to look at stories. It's like a video game. Like, think about Pokemon games. When you played Pokemon the first time, right? Whether it's Fire Red or Emerald or, you know, Diamond, right? You played those games and you played them and you were like, oh yeah, they're cool, they're fun. They have like rock, paper, scissors and cool monsters. But then when you go back and play them again and you're not thinking about like how to beat the game so much and you can kind of just enjoy it, you're like, wow, this is like a work of art. Like the designs are really cool. They like put all this work into the aesthetics of the game, the like replayability of it, the post game, the music, right? The more you play like the Gen 4 games, you're like, the music is insane in these games, right? So it's like designing something to be enjoyed multiple times and to take something away differently each time you come back to it is really a skill. And for people to say like, oh, well, that's just stupid. It's like, I feel like that's a very reductionist way of viewing media in general, video games, books, movies, whatever. It's crazy how things change. At first, I didn't like Gachi Akata after the first episodes because it was over the top edgy. Now it's a 9 out of 10 for me, and I'm reading the manga along with the anime. Yeah, the Gachi Akata, that's the reason I say it's like one of the best ongoing manga, because like the way Kei Urana layers things while keeping you engaged with the current plot stuff, it's masterful, I think. Eden says OG being stingy with the likes I see. Look, man, I got hate for giving out too many likes on the Nicholas Light video. People saying I only show likes to my people, so apparently I gotta be real stingy with my likes now. No, that video, I guess I forgot to like that one, so my bad. Did I already cover the new Dandadan chapter? No, unfortunately, I was out of town Monday, so I wasn't here to stream, but I will be here for the next chapter. And I did read it, by the way. I think the Rio fight will be the determining moment of whether Gachi Akata gets mainstream hype. I don't know about that particular moment. I think it'll come down to how much people go back to watch and binge the show once it's over. Because this has always been a thing, but now in the age of streaming and seasonal shows, what tends to happen is people watch like maybe the first 1 to 3 episodes of a show to see if they like it. Then they let it play out. And then once it's over, they come back and watch the whole thing. So this is why you'll see a lot of shows where like they're popular week 1, week 2, maybe week 3, then they die, like just go to Nowheresville for the next 10 episodes. But then in the next like month or so after the show ends, suddenly the show gets like super popular. And it's this trend of like people not really wanting to watch the show 1 episode at a time, just watching it at first to see if they actually like it, and then waiting and binging the whole thing once it's over. Dandadan's on break? Get the out of here. Shut up. That's all right. Well, fine. I'm glad somebody said that so I didn't go to read Dawn on Monday and lose my mind. That's crazy. That's okay. We'll find something else to do. Maybe we'll make Monday a rant stream. You keep saying that, but I've understood all the points you made after one read. Well, it kind of depends on your reading experience. I would say it's 50-50. Some people read Gachi Akata that first time and like clicks the whole thing. But there's also another 50% of people like me and Oscar that the first time they read or watch it, like they don't really get it. The manga arts, so again, talking about Gachi Akata, camera angles are pretty insane. They almost nailed that type of art in the anime. They did a really good job of that in the Jabber fight. I was worried they were going to kind of mesh that all, but they did a really good job of that. I'm not sure if Gachi Akata is on the same level as Dandadan, but it is very close. So if we're talking about the anime, I think Dandadan is way better. That being said, I think Gachi Akata is Studio Bones' most consistent adaptation. Mob Psycho is like a completely different thing because it's like, look at the source material. It's not the most artistic looking thing in the world. My Hero has insane peaks, but then it has episodes that are like, what the hell is even that? Gachi Akata is like its one new series, minus the stuff I haven't seen, where like every episode is as good looking as the last one. Like there's a certain baseline that's higher than like My Hero Academia. Have I read the new Black Clover chapters? No. Maybe that's a good point. Maybe we'll do Black Clover Monday. That's actually a really good point. Thank you, Justin. Your thoughts on the story of Sayun Koko, at least the key visual. I know we talked about it before. I mean, it looks interesting enough, I guess. I haven't watched it yet. Gachi Akata is this generation's Undead Unluck, not popular, and will max reach 5 million copies in circulation. Its sales are extremely poor for an anime with 16 episodes. I think that's a bit of a stretch, and I also don't think that's a very good comparison. I do see what you're talking about, but the difference is Undead Unluck has one season, and that one season like barely got watched. Like as good as it was, it barely got watched. Everyone's watching Gachi Akata, so that's not really a good comparison. The other thing too is they're in different magazines. So like Gachi Akata naturally is gonna have to compete with anything Weekly Shonen Jump. That's just the way it is. The other thing is Undead Unluck, the anime dropped in like the autumn of the manga. Like when that season 1 dropped, the manga was close to ending, basically over. Gachi Akata is like maybe halfway through. So I do see what you mean though. What would you say are Madhouse's best production? I don't know off the top of my head. Let's take a look. I'll tell you my 3 of my favorite Madhouse anime. Let's go to... I think Free Run has to be in the list just because of how good it looks, excuse me. Sort by newest. So Free Run is 1. Black Lagoon, because I love Black Lagoon. And it also looks really good. This last one's going to be a toughie. I would probably say the first season of One Punch Man, with an honorable mention to Hunter x Hunter and Overlord. Hunter x Hunter looks really good, but like I never really look back on Hunter x Hunter like, yo, the animation is crazy. Like it's good, but like, you know, it's okay. Hunter x Hunter, everyone knows what's up with Hunter x Hunter. I don't need to hype it up. And then Overlord is, you know, kind of a mixed bag, but also looks really good. If I consider doing live reactions to anime, I have, and I would love to. I'll probably never do it on YouTube just because of copyrights. It makes doing them a complete waste of time. Because, you know, even with stuff that isn't anime, even with stuff that's like Has Been Hotel or whatever, you just run the risk of like YouTube pulling down your video and it's like, oh, there goes all that, right? So what I would probably do is, when we get big enough to do it, I'll start uploading live reviews to Patreon. Like they won't be live obviously, but I'll do like actual anime reactions and you can watch them on Patreon. If that's something you're interested, raise your hand or give me like a thumbs up in chat, because I would like to do that in the future. Yeah, I was saying this before, maybe it's better that, excuse me, Gachi Akata is not that popular. If we get another season and Gachi Akata is still not popular, it's fine with me. Like, look at what happened to Jujutsu Kaisen. I was saying that about Dawn to Dawn. Like, look at what happened to Dawn to Dawn. Like, it worked out, but like, my God, was that obnoxious. Sunny Bear says, Gachi Akata is by far my favorite non-Shonen Jump manga, but I'm so scared about its anime in the long run since it's Shonen magazine. I think it'll be fine. I don't know how long they'll continue the anime, because it looks like it's going to be as long as Fire Force. And I mean, look at what happened to Fire Force. It's like 3 seasons, basically. Saying next generation when Undead Unluck ended like a year or 2 ago is crazy. I have the impression new generation every month. Yeah. Yeah. Whenever I say new generation, I'm usually referring to, like, if it's anime, it's something that like no later than like 2 seasons. And then with manga, it's got to be something that like doesn't have an anime yet. So like Dawn to Dawn, I wouldn't really consider. It's just now leaving new gen, right? At this point, but I would still kind of consider it new gen. What was I gonna say? Kagurabachi, Ichi the Witch, those are all new gen. I would call Gachi Akata new gen just because it like just got its first season. Undead Unluck I would not call new gen anymore because 1, it's over, Also, it's in that like iffy time. I don't know. The whole new gen thing is kind of like an iffy margin, because I feel like by the time people decide like what's new gen, the new stuff isn't new anymore. Galaxius is definitely new gen for sure. So last year, I think I said anything that came out like around the time of or after Jujutsu Kaisen is new gen. So basically anything that came out like 2019 or after, and Undead Unluck came out like 2019. So it's like, yeah. But having said that, now I think we need a new one. I think at this point, probably anything that came out after 2021. Because I think now Dawn to Dawn would probably be the cutoff. So like Chainsaw Man is that gray area as well. It came out before, but it's like one season in a movie. It's like kind of. How do I feel about Sonda? I haven't heard anyone discuss it. I just haven't watched it. It looks cool, but I don't really have any particular interest to watch it. That's another example of like, even though it's already a niche series, it's on Amazon, so like it's just not gonna get as much exposure. Have I read the Bugle Call Song of War? No, I have not. Did the Astro Baby manga interest you? I'm not sure. I don't know which one that is. J-Tastic says, I don't think Gachi Akata has mainstream appeal. It's not as action-oriented. It's got a lot of exposition. Yeah, but that also makes it, like, unique. Like, once you get Gachi Akata, it becomes one of your favorite series. Like, it's a battle series that's also not really a battle series. Like, even when Gachi Akata does get fights, it's only in the last, I don't know, 40 chapters or so where we actually get like a good amount of fights. Gachi Akata does not really have a lot of fights. It's not really about like fights. Not like One Piece or, you know, Kagurabachi. It has a lot of like clashes, but not a lot of fights. Dawn to Dawn is not action oriented and it was a hit worldwide. I see what you mean by that, but that's not entirely true. It's 50-50. It's like half a battle series, half a romance series. That's what did it for Dawn to Dawn. Hey OG, give this manga a read. Parashoppers. It's made by the creator of Law of Ueki. I haven't heard of either of those, but I'll definitely keep my eye out for Parashoppers. Yeah, that's why I don't quite agree. Dawn to Dawn is action-centered. I wouldn't call that cope, but the action isn't like the driving force of the story. So J-Tastic says, I was talking about criticisms I've seen on Twitter. Yeah, the people who don't like Gachi Akata would probably say like there's too much exposition, there's not enough fights. That's the thing. Like people said, you know, in my video, like, oh, you know, Gachi Akata doesn't gaslight you, you know, you're making stuff up. But look at all the people who go into Gachi Akata expecting it to be like a battle shonen, and then they get pissed off because it's not a battle shonen. It's a perfectly legitimate claim. I think so. Gachi Akata does have mainstream appeal, unlike Jujutsu Kaisen, which failed in the story department and excelled on fights and not characters or story. Jujutsu Kaisen is popular because the anime looks really good, the fights are insane, and like every other dude in that series is an aura farmer. All the necessary pieces of a mainstream anime. Dandadan and Chainsaw Man kind of feel action adjacent, if that makes sense. I think I get what people are saying, but I think we're being like way too technical about what we mean when we say action oriented. Like even the expression action oriented is kind of a loaded term. Is it an action series? Feels like kind of a broad question. But I think the simple question is like, is there action, right? And the answer is yes. Like Chainsaw Man, the first chapter is Denji murdering a bunch of zombies. Like, of course, there's a bunch of action in Chainsaw Man. Dandadan, there's a bunch of fights, so of course there's action in Dandadan. But I think what people are trying to say here is like Chainsaw Man isn't a battle series. Dandadan isn't a battle series. I think that's what people are trying to say. Like Chainsaw Man is not One Punch Man. It's not, you know, JoJo. It's not, whatever, right? Like it's not like that strict formula of like power-ups, abilities, power scaling, all that stuff, tournament arcs, right? So I get what people are trying to say. I completely forgot I recently got into the Kingdom anime because I've been wanting to watch it for a while. I'm on season 3, episode 6, and I'm already halfway through the entire series. That is good to know because people are always trying to get me into Kingdom, and it's never really looked like something that I would be particularly excited about, but if the anime is that good, I might give it a watch. I'd probably read the manga first. JJK can't be about anything except battles. It is literally called Magic Battle. Yeah, I mean, there is good character writing in Jujutsu Kaisen, but just the way it played out, like, it became all about the fights, which worked. I'd always recommend reading Kingdom over the anime. Yeah, I've heard it's got issues for sure. How many hours does it take to make one video? I'd say maybe 2 hours to script, maybe like 30 minutes to record a video. And then I can't speak to editing. For me, when I would edit my videos, maybe like a day or two, generally. So like more or less like half a week. Something like that on average. Yeah. What was I gonna say? I totally lost my train of thought. While we're still on the anime train, I do want to look at the winter season because I keep forgetting exactly what's coming out. So we go to anime, seasonal anime. Let's go to winter. So Frieren comes out January 16th. Hell's Paradise comes out. Jujutsu Kaisen. I gotta be honest, I don't think anyone's gonna give a flying hoot about Hell's Paradise. I think, especially with Jujutsu Kaisen coming out, I think Hell's Paradise is going to get criminally overshadowed by everything else coming out. Oshinoko is coming out. That'll be an interesting one to see. I think it's still going to get views, but I don't know where it's going to rank. Fire Force is going to be tragic because Fire Force is not Frieren. It's not Jujutsu Kaisen. So that one's going to be, unfortunately, kind of niche this season. I hate to say it, but Vigilante Season 2 comes out. That'll also be kind of a niche pick. Golden Kamuy comes out, which I keep forgetting about. I'm so glad I keep coming back to this. I'm like a season or two behind on Golden Kamuy. I need to catch up, even though I'm caught up on the manga. I think I'm gonna have to make at least one Golden Kamuy video because I just love it so much, and it's one of those series, like, even if it gets 10 views, I need to make a video. Everything Small with JJK coming out, it's literally the juggernaut of this generation. Well, this is going to be an unprecedented season because we have probably the two most popular anime coming out at the same time. Jujutsu Kaisen and Frieren. I think maybe Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 was running at the same time as Frieren for like a while, but I don't think they came out at the same time last year. I think they like had a bit of crossover. Can anybody correct me on that? Demons of the Shadow Realm is also going to be released. Yeah, but I think it comes out in the spring. Am I wrong? I don't think that comes out until the spring. I'm not seeing it. What else? It is still sad that Frieren is overshadowed by Solo Leveling. Maybe popularity-wise, but go on Mal and it's still... Right? Let's go to... let's go here. Anime. Top anime. I mean, it's still the #1 rated anime on Mal, even with the Chainsaw Man movie being so popular. So we'll see. Will we ever see another long anime like Bleach, Naruto, or One Piece? Not for a while. No, I would not expect it anytime soon. JJK and Frieren are going to have a slugfest like Goku and Vegeta? Yeah, pretty much. It's going to be like Goku versus Majin Vegeta. Regarding the popularity of Gachi Akata and whether it will receive further seasons, remember that it's the Japanese people's opinion that counts the most. Well, what are we talking about here? I haven't heard anything about Japanese fans. I see what you mean. So I think what you're saying is like people here aren't talking about it, but in Japan it might be getting talked about. That could be true. Obviously, I'm not Japanese. I don't live in Japan, so I don't know, but I can only go by like what I see, like whatever data I have access to. Is it hard to be a full-time anime content creator? Yes. It's hard to be a full-time creator in general. The hardest part is just getting consistent views and, you know, making it profitable. Because, like, I make money, but, like, I don't make, like, a lot of money. So that's really the struggle, but we're hanging in there. But since I brought that up, if you haven't read the November update post, go ahead and read that. But in that post, I'll just say it again. I have to thank everybody because this past month, so the month of October, was probably the most consistent month in terms of video performance I've ever had. Excuse me. So usually, like, if I get a bunch of videos, let's say I put out 10 videos, one video might get like 500,000 views. Some of them might get like 50,000 views or 100,000 views. And then some of them will be like 5,000 views, 10,000 views, 5,000 views, 10,000 views. This was like the first month in a really, really long time, probably the first time I can think of, where there was like a very respectable baseline of like something like 22,000 views on average. So I have to thank everybody. It's awesome to see. I'm going to work hard to continue that for the rest of the year into the next year. But yeah, thanks guys. I'm glad you're enjoying the videos, and I'm going to try and kill it. OG, get on that Witch Riv. Yeah, no, I said at the beginning of the stream, I still need to read it. I'm probably going to read it tonight before I go to sleep. Shonen Jump News released Oricon's top 10 weekly chart today. Good to know. I'll have to look into that. I'll be curious to see what like the top 10, top 20 manga are at the end of the year, because I feel like this year was like really weird. Gachi Akata doesn't compartmentalize the power system. The different approach. Yeah, Gachi Akata definitely has a unique approach to its power system for sure. Gachi Akata doesn't really have any competition in its magazine outside of Blue Lock or maybe Rent a Girlfriend. I wouldn't say so. I'd say maybe Shangri-La Frontier, but I don't think that's the case. The competition it has is with other mainstream series. So like if you have to decide between, for example, Dawn to Dawn and Gachi Akata, because remember, if you go to the bookstore, it's not just, people don't like look at the manga and see like, maybe in Japan, but at least here, like you don't see like Kodansha, Jump, whatever. You just see all the manga. So regardless of the magazines, like you still have to compete with Shonen Jump. I love Jabber, especially after the last episode. The guy isn't exactly good or bad. He's a psychopath junkie who looks at life as a big game. His way of speaking and trolling is great. Has anybody seen the dub for Gachi Akata? Because they made him very unique, unlike other dub characters. That's all I'm gonna say. I haven't sat down and watched the dub yet. I would like to do that soon, but I saw a clip of the dub and I was like, okay, that's a pretty cool path they're taking the character in. I like that. I wouldn't say Jabber is like, you know, mustache twirling evil, but I definitely think he's bad. Like I wouldn't say he's like capital V villain, but he's still a villain, right? Going around murdering people for the fun of it is still bad, but I see what you mean. Yeah, the Gachi Akata dub version of Jabber is crazy. He talks to the Rudo and he's like, raggedy ass spherite. I was like, oh, okay, I guess we're doing that. Wasn't expecting that. Rudo has a real raspy voice in the dub, as he should, because he's kind of that guy. Before we close out the stream, I do just want to look at Manga Plus. So Chainsaw Man is number 1. That makes sense. Followed by One Piece, Boruto, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Dawn to Dawn. Black Clover is number 7. I was late to the party on that. I am curious if it was in the top 5 when its new chapters dropped. Witch Riv is 11, which isn't good or bad. It's kind of just like in the middle for only 3 chapters. Good, but not great. Ichi the Witch has kind of fallen off a bit. It's been taken over by the mage next door, Witch Riv, Gonron Egg, which is crazy because I didn't see anybody who really liked that series. So something's going on with Ichi the Witch that people are kind of just like, whatever. Same thing with Centauria. I think maybe it's just all of these new manga, but we'll see. Yeah, I think all of these new manga made everything get knocked down a few spaces. Like Martial King is 37. Usually it's like in the low 30s. But I think this is the first time I'm not seeing Ultimate Exorcist Kyoshi. So Kyoshi is officially, in terms of popularity, fallen off. It can always come back, but I gotta be honest, I don't really see it breaking through into that next threshold. I think there's just something about it that like the majority of people don't like. I think it's just Black Clover in the sense that like, unless you really like a classic battle shonen, you're never gonna like it. Yeah, I think that there's new manga, and so they're all getting pushed. Yeah, I think a lot of these new manga won't even be in the top 20 given a few time. Although Eden's is hyping up Witch Riv, so we'll see how that does. Speaking of new manga, I am curious. Yeah, so what was the one series? It was like Anime Girl and Drug Cartel or something. That series is like gone. I'm sure it's still running, but like that's gone. That didn't take very long. I feel like Jump prefers Ichi to Kagurabachi for some reason. Probably because Ichi the Witch is doing exceptionally well. That being said, I feel like if anything, Jump probably favors Kagurabachi. Like the fact that it got that New York Times thing before it even has an anime. I don't know. I have a video that's going to come out this weekend about Shonen Jump. Not like saying Jump is, you know, fallen off, but it's in a very weird state right now. It's undoubtedly the best magazine with the best new manga, but it makes some of the dumbest decisions, I feel like. But on that note, I'm going to wrap things up. Thank you, everybody. We had a good turnout as always. Good discussion as always. There's going to be 2 videos this weekend. One is Okarun and Denji video, which I think everyone will like. Hopefully I don't get flamed in the comments. And then the other video will be the Shonen Jump video. That'll be an interesting one. And then, yeah, other than that, look out for the Monday stream. And also read the November update post if you haven't read that. But until then, thank you, everybody, and I will see you Monday. Peace.